Next two are the orange and this one. I'm not quite sure what color I'm going to make, base color I'm going to make this one, but I'll decide as I go. This one's going to be more orange. So I've got my orange, I've got my bling orange, and I have my white. So the orange needs a little bit of white added to it. So nice good scoop. So dip my brush in the pigment, in the varnish, and then dip it inside of the powder, mix it up. And then I go in with a bit of orange. I like my colors to be quite deep as well. You might not like that, so you might want to tone it down a bit. And then I do use scoops as well, so my little beaded scoops, just to get that powder out quicker. Varnish dries really quickly, so just be cautious as well. You don't want to mix it up and go make yourself a cup of tea or something. Get it on, get it done, then go make some tea. Oops. So I want a little bit more orange. There you go. Okay, a little bit of the bling now. Just gives it a bit of a sparkle, that's all. It's really nice though. Alright, so once that's all done, I'm going to grab my big brush again, close off the powders. Okay, big brush. There you go. In there, and we're going to go in there with the color. So I'm just moving it so I get all those white bits colored. That's pretty good enough for me. Just get a bit more down the side there. All right, so those are those ones, and then the last one is this one, which I'm not too sure what I'd like to do with him. So I might change him up a bit and put a bit of maybe mocha here, dark brown to enhance him a bit. I'm not too sure with that. So that's a bit too dark. Let's try the mocha and burnt sienna. So I'm just going to turn that around. Again, it's entirely up to your taste. So I'm just going to mix it in this burgundy one. It's pretty dry already. So dipping it in the varnish, dip it in the powder, give it a mix. I'm going to use a bit of this burnt sienna as well. So it's a little bit of a reddy brown. It's not too mockery. And that's pretty nice. Just to change it up, just to show you how you can change everything up. Get rid of some of that white. Some of that pale brown on the background is actually very nice. So I'm going to keep some of it. Just want to get that train painted better. Get these bells painted better. Okay, with that light coming through, quite like some of that lighter brown sticking through. Okay. Alright, so those are all the bases now. We've done all the base colors for all of them. Now we're going to add a bit of highlights. So the highlights I like to use are more the coppers, the metallics, that type of thing. So I've got a bit of gold, bronze gold. I need to grab the copper as well. So let's grab the copper. We've got a bit of PE green. And we've got a bit of silver if we want. So it's only because I want to try a bit of metallics on it. So I'm just going to fold that piece of foil over. We're going to start with the first one that we painted, which was the burgundy one first. So this one I'm thinking more gold colors to this. So a little goes a long way. It's metallics and it really, really goes a long way. So I prefer flatter brush, wet it in the varnish, wet it in the pigment powder, and give it a mix. Nice intense colors. Squeeze out as much as you can. Use the puppy peat pad to your advantage. It feels like you're wasting, but you don't want a big blob going across it. And I'm just going to drag it parallel. So if I drag it parallel lightly, I'm just going to get the tops of the poinsettia. Don't want to be too harsh. I'm going to do the same on the little holly, because I'm not too worried about keeping to the holly colors. And then I'm probably going to do the edging. So the edging, I just wisp it off the edge, just ever so slightly, just to get the highlights on the edging to match in with the rest of the piece. And if you want, just drag your brush a little bit across the inside, not too much. You don't want to change it now completely gold. If that's what you want to do, that's what you do. So there's that one. I'm going to bring in the next one. I'm going to use a bit of the gold for the background and then use a bit of green on the actual holly. So gold on the background, dragging parallel like I just did, edges, and then all these textures. That's what I'm focusing on, just touching the tops of the textures, edge of the tag as well. If you paint the holly, it doesn't matter. So I'm going to paint it anyway to show you if you were to make it all green. Bit of gold on everything. Okay, so that's literally one mix I've done, and I've done 2 tags. So the other one I wanted was the green, like I said. I'm going to get a little bit of a smaller brush. See if I can find one. There it is. So the PE green is here. So it looks white, but it actually comes out green. So dip it in there, dip it in your pigment powder, give it a good old mix. All right, and you'll see the magic happening now. So if you wanted to, just highlight the leaves a bit more. Look at the magic. How gorgeous is that? So it brings out the leaves even better. You might prefer to put a darker green. You can always go and get a ginger green, make it darker. Again, it's your own preferences. And if you choose to do red and put it on the berries, or you can take a small brush, dip it in some of this gold, hopefully it's not too dry, and just dip it on the berries. Gather up what I can there. There you go. That's the second one. Moving up, now we've got the orange. So for the orange, I also like the gold for the orange, and I'll show you what it looks like. So let's see if we can still rejuvenate some of that. So we're just going to bring some of that in there. Oh yes, the metallics always bring it out nicely. I might just get a bit of that green in here as well, I think. Just for those leaves. Don't want too much. I don't want to ruin it too much. I'm going to mix a little bit more gold. You can really get carried away with this. Don't ruin it too much now. And there's the orange one. And then the last one is, I think, going to be bronze gold. So this is the train. Very simple, very masculine with a bit of bronze gold, which is right in front of me and I couldn't see it. So a little bit of varnish. So dip it in the varnish, Dip it in the pigment powder. I've mixed a little bit too much. I didn't need that much. You could always use this on one of the other pieces. So closing that off. Dry it off a little bit. Just so you don't get a big blob. And then holding it parallel, you're just going to hit the tops. Oh yes. Brings out nicely the train there. Let's bring out some of these bells. And then obviously the decoration on the side. When you do the edging, it really brings the piece out a lot more. Don't want to go too crazy with that. But that's it. Those are the 4 tags that we've created. So a little bit of Halloween in there, or autumn. A little bit of masculine for Christmas. And then we've got the green with the hollies. And then we've got the red for the burgundy. Hope you've enjoyed this video tutorial.